Hello and welcome to another episode of the Be Bay podcast or show, whatever you want to call it. Mostly we're just here to be ourselves, right? So today I want to talk about profiles and how profiles are, it's like your personality. It's kind of like you take those Enneagram personality tests and it shows you kind of like how you operate, right? What are some things about your personality that dictate what you do, right? And your profile, I'll just share a little story. I personally did not relate to my profile for a very long time. I am a 4-6 and did not feel like, I mean, in some ways, yes, opportunities come from my network, right? That's the fourth line networker. Um, but the sixth line was really hard. Sixth line, we'll get into it, but it has 3 different phases, and when I first discovered human design, I was just shifting into the second phase and going on to the roof is what they call it, and I didn't get it. All I knew was that I thought I was just getting old in not wanting to, like, interact with people anymore. I used to love going to parties. I used to love being around people, like, big groups of people really gave me energy, and now they were suddenly draining me more, and I just did not understand my own profile, and so I kind of what I do when I don't understand something is I throw it to the back burner, and I'm like, "I'm not dealing with this right now. It's not important to me, right?" And about, I want to say 6 months ago, something clicked in me. And I've been on this journey now with human design for 7 years. So a long time for for me to like shove profile lines under the rug. And I could tell clients like what their profile meant, but it wasn't integrated, right? And we know with self-development that it's not just knowing the knowledge, it's actually integrating and, for lack of a better word, embodying the knowledge that you have. And once you do that, then it's it becomes ingrained, it becomes a part of who you are, and it, everything changes, right? So it clicked finally 6 months ago, like how my profile, why really I wasn't resonating prior to it, right? And it boiled down to, if you're not in your unconscious profile line. So if you look on your chart, you're going to have, it'll say profile, right? There'll be like 1, 3, 4, 6, whatever. If you're not identifying with the unconscious number, so that's the second number, 6 for me, then the conscious can't be realized. It can't express itself. So it'll feel like the whole thing doesn't work, right? And that's how it felt for me because I wasn't truly in my sixth line. Um, the fourth line wasn't doing its job. So once I shifted that sixth line understanding of that, yes, I'm on the roof. I have to not only, it goes back to embodying, is the sixth line. So the sixth line is the role model, right? And in that integrative phase, that second phase, it's about integrating the knowledge that you've learned. And I was still in this, like, I need to know more. I need to know more. I needed that third line. I need to experiment with this. I don't know it yet. It's not, I can't trust it. Right. And once I shifted from, no, I do know so much, I have learned so much from my already lived experience and knowledge that, like, I just have to be it and stop messing around with, like, I need to know more, right? Um, and once I made that shift and that tweak of truly just embodying what I do know and coming from that place, the fourth line did start to click into place, and it's my network. It's the people that I know that share my work, that share what I'm doing, and that's how clients come to me. That's how my audience grows. It's not me going out with ads and getting in front of people. It's me finding people that are in alignment and are a yes, and sharing with them and expanding my network that way. Does that make sense? So today I wanted to go through each profile line and break it down so you can kind of start to understand what this means for you when you're looking at your profile. I do have a guide. I'll just let you know I have a guide all about profile lines, putting them together, journal questions, like really getting at the nitty gritty of these inside the content library. So there'll be a link at the bottom in the show notes so that you can go see that and find that, dive into it if that's what you choose. Today, though, for the purpose of this podcast, I really want to separate the lines individually. So you can look at, am I truly like living in alignment with that unconscious line of my profile? And when you can separate the two, it's a little bit easier to understand the whole, right? So the first line, if you um, first lines are the investigators, right? They have to know everything. They like have this insatiable appetite for learning and always, always, always want to learn more and almost feel like they don't know enough. So they have to go learn more, right? The shadow of the first line is getting caught in that information loop where they don't go out and do something with the knowledge that they have. They just keep trying to learn more, right? You have so much knowledge. I can guarantee every line one that I've ever met knows so much about certain topics. Especially they just love to dive in. So don't get caught in that loop of I don't know enough because you invariably know a hell of a lot more than the average person about the thing that you love. So start sharing it first and foremost. Um, and so really your superpower as a line one is your knowledge. So making sure that you are sharing your knowledge within your copy, within your messaging is going to be super, super important for embodying that line one. The line two is the hermit. They call it the hermit, right? But you're you love to just be by yourself in your own little bubble doing what you love, right? You don't really care what the world is doing around you. You just want to be in your bubble doing what you love. And line twos have a secret gift or talent that they don't always see themselves. They're really good at something and they're so good at it, they don't even realize that it's a gift. And it can take someone else pulling that out and saying, hey, you're really good at this. Hey, and recognizing that gift for you to see it yourself. And you're going to be called out eventually, right? Your gift is needed, your talent is needed. So, honing in on what that is, paying attention to what other people say. I mean, you can even ask, like, ask your friends, like, what am I really good at? What do you think of me in my talents? Like, what are some of my talents that you see? You might be surprised with what they say. That's probably not what you're thinking. Your secret or superpower is your genius, right? That genius is going to impact and influence the world. The line threes are very relatable. You're relatable because you love trial and error. You have to get your hands in the clay. You have to do things yourself. You want to experience life for in your own way, right? You no one can tell you that something is bad. You have to do it yourself. It's like no one can tell you that the stove is hot. You have to put your hand on the stove to know that it's hot, right? So invariably, you end up with tons of lived experience, and this makes you incredibly relatable. They'd be like, "Oh, I tried that. It didn't work. Oh, I tried that. Oh, it did work." Right? And it's in that trial and error process that you share and relate to people and just treating life like an experiment. That's the like beauty of the line three is like life is an experiment. Get out there and get your hands in the clay. Learn, do. The more that you learn and do yourself, the faster you will get to your own success. Quotes, air quotes around success on that. Your superpower is challenging falsehoods. It's challenging. So if someone says, this is what I think is the right way to do it, you can be like, okay, well, let me try it and see what happens. And so you try it and go get your hands in the clay. What do you see as truth within that, right? You get have this ability to try lots of different things and invariably understand what is right and what is not right from your own lived experience. And that is your superpower. The line fours are the opportunists. You are the connectors. And again, like this took so long for me to understand. I I don't like networking in the traditional sense, right? I don't like small talk and doing networking events. I used to do that a lot when I was doing photography, is especially for weddings. There was so much networking in photographing weddings, and I just did not like it at all. But that was because I wasn't in my sixth line. But okay, back to the forest. Your shadow is okay. So I lost my train of thought for a second. Line fours, it's relationships. First and foremost, deep, powerful, meaningful relationships. And when you can't be in a deep, meaningful relationship with someone, then it's you can't get out what you feel is necessary either. You don't feel connected to that person, and therefore they don't feel connected either. So this is why I think I love one to one so much, and why I see lots of like fours also really loving one to one or group where you can really get to know people. You can really understand who they are at a much deeper level, because that's what it's about. It's not these surface level relationships and knowing a bunch of people, right? Like that's the traditional way of networking. The new way of networking with the line four is deep, meaningful relationships with the right people. So, are the people in your network right now the people that are going to support you, that you feel aligned with? Because if they're not, then they're not going to get you what you want. Then you're not going to be able to grow the way you want to. You need to find people that you feel super aligned with, that get you on lots of different levels, but you can have a deep, meaningful relationship with them and serve them in multiple ways. And your superpower obviously is this ability to really know someone and know someone on a deep level. That's the superpower. The people that I get to know, my clients, as well as in my personal life outside of work, I have really deep, meaningful relationships with, and I really love just getting to know people, what they're thinking, not on the surface of like what life is. I want what makes you tick, what makes you get out of bed, what makes you decide certain things, like really share your full truth with someone. That's the power in the fourth line. The line fives, so you guys get projected on to heal people, right? Your people are always coming to you wanting you to fix them, right? And line fives, you do want to give practical solutions to people so that they're not projecting onto you. You say, it's like, well, let me back up. Line fives always have healed something themselves. They've always learned something, healed something within their own life. And now they feel very compelled to help other people do that as well. And that's where the practical solution comes in, is that you can give a practical solution to healing what you healed to the people coming to you, so that they're not projecting onto you that you're going to save them. You're not saving them, right? Um, so your superpower is practical solutions that help people heal or get over their struggles, right? The sixth line has three phases in it. The first 30 years are that trial and error third line, right? You have to get your hands in the clay and do things yourself. The second phase is you go on the roof, is what they call it. It's basically you withdraw. You withdraw and just want to observe. You don't want to like get down in the mess anymore as much. You just want to observe people and what they're doing, and then integrate the knowledge that you've learned over the last 30, 40 years and really understand it on a much deeper level. So that's where I'm at. I'm in that integration phase where I love just observing people and then integrating the lessons that I've learned into true embodiment. And then the last phase as a sixth line is you become the role model. You're like just living life as you fully expressed as yourself. And you're not out there trying to change people, do anything. You're just living your life as you are. Um, so the superpower of the sixth line is really sharing who you are, just being yourself and expressing yourself as authentically as possible. So those are the six lines. I would love to encourage you to think about your unconscious line, that second line. Are you truly in alignment with that line first, right? Does it feel like you? Do you feel like there's some tweaks there? Like I said, like the sixth line for me, I was still trying to trial and error when I was fully in the integration phase. Once I started integrating and actually being the knowledge that I knew, then everything changed. Like it shifted how I showed up, shifted what I was doing, it shifted everything. So, um, journal a little bit maybe on this unconscious line. Are you truly in alignment with it? And again, the guide will dive deeper into this. And I really encourage you that if this is something that you're feeling compelled to learn more about, go get the guide on profiles because it will help you figure out what your unconscious line really is asking you to do so that your conscious line will come out. And this is what flavors everything in your business. It flavors your copy, flavors your coffee, flavors your copy. And like this is your personality, right? It shapes what you do, right? And so when we can be fully in alignment with our profile line, we have more impact and influence on our audience. So that's it for today. Really, really encourage you to get the guide. I think it will immensely help. And I hope that this was a taste into it. It's a deeper topic than I think a podcast can go into, but it's so important because it's your personality in so many ways, and it's your way of being in the world. So understanding your profile line is so helpful in terms of writing authentically and magnetically. So I hope you have a wonderful day and we'll talk again soon. Be you guys.